So there you have it. That is the glitch from the USB. It's now booting up into this weird minimalistic BIOS with continue, select language, English. It's got boot manager, device manager, and boot maintenance manager. At the bottom you could see the normal BIOS information. Move to highlight, enter to select entry. Now as you can see, the resolution of this is using all the pixel depth of the screen, which means it's probably 1920 by 1080. It's because when you look like this, it's like scratched across the whole screen. And if I go inside one of these menus, look what happens. Boot manager goes into a black screen, and it still shows me right there, boot manager, and it says the iPhone's getting really bad image quality. Boot option menu, change options with the up and down arrow, enter to select options, and escape to exit. Now right here I have no options. I am using the up and down keys. None of it's working. Move to highlight. We have down here all the way at the bottom, ESC to exit. So if I say escape to exit, what happens is the screen resizes itself. It still has the menu right here. We could still see it. Move to highlight and everything, but it turned into a smaller screen, and it still has everything in there. So I'm just going to go inside every single one of them. For example, if I go to continue, nothing happens. It just comes back to the original screen. If I go to select language, it only gives me two options, French or English. So if I select French, maybe, oh yeah, why? Really worked. I went into French. So I'm gonna hit this up again, English. Then over here it says this is the option to adjust change language for this current system. Then over here, when we hit up boot manager, we have another one saying this selection will take you to the boot manager. And we come back here, device manager. It says this selection will take you to the device manager. So let's get there. Sorry about that. Hit up the device manager, and it says devices list. Escape to exit, device manager. It's got move to highlight, escape to exit. So I'm just gonna go escape to exit from there, and we're gonna go inside boot maintenance manager. This selection will take you to the boot maintenance manager. Just gonna hit enter there, and what we have here is boot options, driver options, boot from file, set boot next value, set timeout value, reset system. So if we look at all the descriptions, it says modify system boot, driver options says modify boot driver options, boot from a file or device, that's from boot from file. Set boot next value means modify next boot behavior. Now that's an interesting menu, because maybe through that we may be able to input some options in there, command line switches, whatever, to activate, deactivate, or probably tweak something in the system. So if we hit down timeout value, it says modify automatic boot timeout value. And if I hit the reset system right here, it really does reset the whole system. So as you can see like that there, we're going to repeat the process again of getting back inside of that menu. I'm hitting up F7 for boot options. Asks me for my BIOS password. I'm just going to input this in very quickly. No peeking on the keyboard. Whoops. Hold on. Alright, okay, so we have here, I'm going to hit there. That's it. I was hitting the 6 button, and after it takes a while, then I'm back in. I am successfully replicating the menu. So I just hit enter and continue. Doesn't do anything, it just brings me back to this screen. we're going to head back inside the boot maintenance manager, and we're going to hit up driver options. Right here it says go back to main page. Inside the driver options, right here we have add a driver option. Right there, if you can see, it's really EFI boot, add a .EFI driver as driver option. Delete driver option will be valid at next boot. Change driver order will be valid at next boot. So if we say add driver option, right here it says add driver option using file. So if I hit that, it's gonna say add driver option using file. Goes into a black menu right here, and it's got this black thing over here. Maybe in the screen it's waiting up for like a USB or floppy disk or something that's formatted inside FAT32 or FAT16 format, but as my USB right here is formatted inside the HFS Plus, which is a Mac format, it's not seeing anything there. So if I hit the escape button, you can actually go back into the menu. Nothing in this menu is actually frozen, so it's an active page. You could really do something on this, but I don't know yet. So if we say boot from file, if we say, hold on, I went back into the driver options, so I'm going to say delete driver option, commit changes and exit right away, or it says discard changes and exit right away. It didn't even show me which options I had to get in there, so I'm just going to hit the escape button again. You have to say change driver order, and it just says commit changes and exit, discard changes and exit. It's just that. I'm gonna hit. Now we're gonna get back to the main page. Boot from file. If we hit enter on that, that is the file explorer. He actually sees the key that I have with my OS X installation that has been patched with Mountain Lion by Neresh 12495. He's able to see that on the PCI root, so he really sees, you can really boot it, and he can tell that from the PCI device ID it is a USB, and it's on the USB slot 1, which is on my USB 3 port 3.0, and it's saying HD is 1 master boot record with the address, and right there it says move to highlight. I'm not going to boot that up just yet, but I'm going to head down to set next boot value, and it gives me this page. We exit from that, set timeout value, and here we actually get to add an auto boot timeout with 65535 maximum value. Range is 0 to 65535. 65535 means it's waiting for a key. So we're going to get out from that. We're not going to hit reset system, but we are going to try to boot from the file, and from this file we're going to see if it really boots. If I hit the enter button, this is what he sees inside of the HFS. Document revisions, private directory, temporary trash drivers, EFI, extra library packages, system, boot, EFI. So if I hit enter here on the boot EFI, he says cannot initialize console, sleeping 10 seconds before exit. So that's the whole screen. He slept 10 seconds, and what did he do is this time he moved the screen from the center of the screen all the way up to the top left, and he gave us back the menu. So if I hit the escape button, he goes back into full resolution, shows me everything right here again, so we could see it. Boot from file, boot options, everything, reset system. We have a boot from file or device. So basically, theoretically, if we do get someone, or if we mess around with this boot from file and try to load an EFI value or load something else, this may be a chance to load custom BIOS files or something like that, where it goes from the original system locked down BIOS and everything we make ourselves a .EFI BIOS with all the values unlocked and everything, and load it using the file explorer that's already included inside the BIOS. We might just be able to unlock the extra options that Sega or Clavo has been locking out on us. But that's just a theoretical guess. Better, easier said than done, as they say. I'm just gonna hit reset the system, and as a freebie, this small little design of an EFI bootable BIOS I have made in here. We're gonna remove this key. This is it, and watch what happens. You get this menu. It's a Mythlogic menu that I just pimped out, testing out the EFI BIOS booting things, and I have my Mac OS X right there, and I have my OCZ Nocti drive that I can use to boot up Windows XP. Windows 7, sorry, my bad. And these are my other drives right here. So actually, if I hit the Snow Leopard right here, what would happen is I would get it to boot up Snow Leopard. So we're just gonna see if it boots up with that. Hit the enter button. There it is, loading up the values. So we're just gonna wait a while for that to work out. This does take a little while, so bear with me here. You know, this system that just got patched together doesn't really go all the way to the end, working mint with everything working on there. I did get that Intel HD Graphics 3000 because I am on a 2nd generation Core i7. I got it to work using frame buffer, and it's not using Quartz Composer, Quartz Extreme yet, but I am able to boot all the way into the desktop without it giving me any errors. Before, I couldn't get anywhere because as soon as the system boots up, you would see the NVIDIA GTX 675M graphics card, and he would stop there. The whole system will work, you could hear sounds, you could hear everything working in the background, but the screen would just stay black because he doesn't know where to route the images to the display, because the display is being handled by the Intel chipset. So when I deactivated that discrete graphics of the NVIDIA, he reverted back to the HD 3000 and was able to give me an interface. That's how I installed Mountain Lion on here, and that's how it's working on my Mythlogic NYX-1712. So I can see with the backlit keyboard and everything. And it's still loading the files. It's almost done, don't worry. It's rounding off in the last lap. So as you can see, what he's loading up here is kext files. It's these small, they're the equivalent of DLL files for Windows. Various files for handling various things in the system. And there, it's booting up. Got everything going. CI. Checking my hard disk right now. It's checking my catalog hierarchy. And there it goes. It's got success using the user space post. It's patching up with the queue. Success with that one. Loading up the AHCI disk manager. That froze on me last time, but right now it actually worked all the way to the end. So I'm having right here resources match category, store exist, a CPI platform plugin, waiting for Apple SMC. There it is, it worked. And we're waiting. There's the mouse right there. I could move it already. That's it. And we have something like this. There we go. We got desktop. So here I'm going to input my password again. that. You know, it's got everything. Hitting the enter button. There, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Bear with me here. Got the spinning wheel. And there it is. I got myself into the desktop. And that is Mountain Lion right here. I got this disk you inserted could not be read on this computer. This is normal because I have 2 disks right now. I had 3 1TB disks in RAID mode, but now I have 2 disks in RAID mode right here. These are my drives right here, and it even detects the Bluetooth keyboard setup. There isn't a Bluetooth keyboard setup because he is being fooled. I don't have a Bluetooth keyboard nor a mouse. I do have a mouse, but it's, you know, IBM, very old USB mouse. Happy with it. And this is how it is. We got everything in here. So if we select, for example, checking some of the features of the Mountain Lion, we have no new notifications, blah blah. Right there, we're going to hit this up. Go moving up here. There, software update, recent logout. Down here we have, there we go, desktop, and we head up in here. About this Mac, as you can see, it's using boot up phase. It does see all of my processor, Core i7. It could see all of my RAM, startup disks. If I hit more information, he's able to give me more information, saying MacBook Pro, Intel Core i7, 32 gigs, 1600. Display 64 megabyte of shared system memory, because, as I said on earlier, it's not able to see any Quartz Express or Desktop Composer, something like that, the extra features of the OpenGL subservice on this. So I'm just having standard display. What I'm trying to say is, what it's trying to say here is, if you were in Windows 7 and you had a problem with your graphics drivers, it would say generic VGA device. Well, on a Mac it would just say display 64 megabytes of shared memory. If I check my storage, I'm able to check my storage right here. 1TB SATA disk. It's saying 78 out of that is my system, and I got my data disk right here. So he's really able to check everything out and give it to you. I've got the memory, checking out the memory. 32 gigabytes installed. Your Mac contains 4 memory slots, each of which can accept DDR3, and they have all 4 slots are being occupied. 8888. So there, I'm going to check out how this works. There we go. I don't know if you could see that well. Select it on here, and checking things out like the App Store, System Preferences. Click on that. You wait a while. There it is, System Preferences. Everything seems to be working mint. Alright, so we're just gonna say restart, shut down or restart, reopen Windows, blah blah. I said okay. It says applications cancel, restart. Say okay. Moving back here, restart, yes. There. It's going into a restart phase, and we're going to load Windows. I hope this goes all the way onto the end. Takes a while to shut down. There it is, shutting down. Going back to the Mythlogic. Post screen right here. I'm not going to hit the F7 key anymore, since we're not going to get inside that weird EFI thing again. Loading up. Alright, this time we're going to select the Windows right here and boot. So that's my Windows boot sequence. excuse me. There it is, Spectroplasm. It's my Windows boot. Alright, I'm going to input my password again. Hit enter, it says welcome. Flashes a bit, that screen, and there's my Windows desktop. Okay, this is in EFI something options and everything coming up, and this is how the desktop looks. Move up here, start button, button right up here, all over here. See that here? Select that. Can move down here. NYX-1712, and moves up here. My drives are like being really fed up. So, but what I have here is my Mac drives. I'm able to mount the HFS Plus drives in Windows to troubleshoot in case there are like problems with it. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys found some inspirations into that video, and if anybody's out there that is able to help creating that EFI BIOS, or would like to know how to make yourself, you know, one of these USB disks and everything, just answer in the forums. Thank you very much, and see you guys later. Bye.